Hello, this video is to introduce a Discord bot that I've created called Time for Adventure. This bot acts as a role-playing game master in Discord so that you and your friends can play a role-playing game where the bot acts as the game master and creates the world. You put actions that your characters will do into the bot and it will tell you what happens. And it will all be generated by the bot. The bot uses the Claude AI, which is Anthropic's very popular AI right now. It works quite well. It is a setting neutral bot, meaning you can do any setting. You can do from high fantasy to futuristic sci-fi. You can be a vampire in a world full of vampires and werewolves or something, or a zombie apocalypse. Any setting that you can imagine and any type of character you want to play can be done with this bot. And I've tried quite a few different things and it works quite well. So I want to go through how to get it set up first and then play the bot a little bit, and so you can see exactly how it works. So the first thing to get started is I would recommend going to the timeforadventure.win website. That is time-for-adventure.win. That's where I am right now on the screen here. And there's a lot of information. You could just go here and figure out how to use the bot. I hope that's the idea, but I'm going to go through it here. So the first thing you want to do is click this Get Started button here, which will take you to this step-by-step process that goes through everything that you need to know to fully be using the bot from the very, very start. So the first thing is that you will need a Discord server. You can create a Discord server for free if you do not have one or are not an administrator in one. There's probably plenty of resources on the web as to how to do that. So if you want to pause the video and go get that done now, that would be a good time. Once you have your Discord server set up, you can click this button, and if you're logged into Discord, it's going to bring up a dialog that will allow you to pick one of the servers you have admin access to and add the bot to that server. Okay, I've switched over to in Discord now. I've added the bot I've got a little test server set up here that just has me and the bot in here. You can see the bot over here, which you should see in your server if you successfully added it there. One thing I'll quickly note is that if you are adding it to a server that has like roles set up and things like that, you will need to go in and add any roles. This server doesn't have any, but you will need to add any roles to the bot to allow it to access the text channels and voice channels that you want to use it in. If you try to use it in a text channel it doesn't have access to, obviously that's not going to work really well. All right, anyhow, we got the bot going. We're in here. The bot is interacted with through what are called Discord slash commands. And to use slash commands, you simply type a slash, and you can see a list of slash commands come up here. And if you type in just kind of a couple characters of the name of the command, it will bring that command up. So I want to do what's called the help command. So I'm just going to type in HE. And you can see at the very top of the list here, we've got TFA help, and we also have this TFA help role playing. So let's go ahead and do TFA help, select that, press enter, and this is going to bring up a list of commands that the bot can use. So this is very easy to discover how the bot works. There's a description of each command. And if you do, let's do that other help command, the role-playing game, or the role-playing command. You'll notice this has a parameter. Some slash commands have parameters, and when they come up, it's going to come up right here. And this is a parameter that is a pick list, meaning kind of like a drop-down you'd see on a typical website or other type of app. And there's a bunch of options here, and I'm going to pick the commands option, which will fill in there. And then if I press enter, you're going to see I'm going to get another bunch of commands, and these are all the commands. The first help was kind of like the general purpose bot commands. These commands are all for how you're going to create your campaign, add players to the campaign, and play the campaign. All right, so the next thing to talk about, and this is where I might lose some people, but I'm sorry, the truth of the matter is that calling the Anthropic's Claude API costs money. Every single API I call costs a couple cents. So I can't do this for free. I've got to charge for it. just to kind of lay it out, if you use this bot to run a campaign and you play for maybe about 2 hours, it's probably going to cost about $3 to $4. That's what it is. That's what it's costing me. I can't just give this away for free. I'm basically looking at the exact cost that these API calls are taking, and I am charging for that. And the way I do that is that you put a balance, add a balance to your account, and you can check your balance by doing the balance command, TFA balance right here. And if I do that, you'll see that it will tell me that I've got a balance of $59. If you try that, you're probably going to have a balance of 0. And so you're not going to be able to really move forward and use the bot unless you put a balance on your card. And if you go back to the website that we were at, there is a add funds command. Doing that will allow you to get a code that then you use a command called TFA-add-funds. There's a code parameter. You simply cut that code, paste it in here, and then hit enter, and a balance, that whatever balance amount you purchased will get added to your account, and then you can start playing the bot. So anyhow, it is what it is. I can't just eat the cost of this or give this away for free, and that's what it is. And it really can't even be a monthly subscription, because if somebody, if I were to charge a monthly subscription of $10 or something, somebody could easily eat up, play the game 24 hours a day and eat up huge amounts of API charges. So that is what it is. Anyhow, if you're still with me, let's move on and start a campaign. All right, so let's get to the fun stuff and get a campaign started. The first thing you want to do is join a voice channel if you want to have the results of the campaign narrated to you. And so I'm going to join this voice channel here, and let's start the campaign. So there's a command, TFA start campaign. There is a setting parameter, and this is where you get to be creative. And I've got something ready here, but just you can put anything you want in here. You can do fantasy, you can do sci-fi, you can be a moose living in a forest looking for a mate. Anything you want. I've tried some pretty crazy things, and it tends to work quite well. Might not make for the most interesting campaign depending on what you do, but you can literally adventure in any setting you would like to adventure in, or any situation you would like to adventure in. I'm going to put in, and I rewrote this, high fantasy world full of magic and mystery. So I'm going to press enter there, and you'll notice that the bot has joined my voice channel. And if you, it only does that if you are in a voice channel at the time that you do this. However, if you weren't, if you forgot or whatever, this TFA audio command that we can see from our help can allow you to connect and disconnect the bot from your voice channel. So just use that command. If you forgot, you can just do that, and it'll join the channel with that command. All right, so our command is created, or our campaign is created. You note that there's it says here, use TFA-add player to add players to the adventure. The campaign is created, but there's no players in the campaign yet. Not even you, not even the person who started that campaign. And so let's do that. And you can use this TFA-add player as many times as you'd like to add players. I've tried up to 4. I don't really have a limit on it. My guess is if you get to be too many, it's probably going to start having issues, but see what happens. So I'm going to do TFA-add player. This command has 2 parameters. The first one is the user, and this is the Discord user that is going to be playing this particular player. And to do that, you have to start with an @ command, an @ sign, and you got to start typing in a username. And you'll notice that I just typed in @K, and it's bringing up me, Koth. So I'm going to just select that. And it's a good idea to select it because it is like case sensitive and stuff. So I would recommend always select from the list instead of fully typing it out, just to make sure you get it right. And I have pre-written what I want my character to be, because that is the next parameter. Now you're going to describe what your character is, and you can put in a lot of detail here or very little detail. The bot will fill in kind of whatever you don't put in. You can give your character a name if you want here. You can say what the name is going to be. If you don't, it'll pick a name for you. And so I'm going to say an apprentice wizard looking to learn more spells and grow in power. All right, which fits in with the high fantasy adventure that I did. And then I'm going to press enter here. And you notice it's going to start thinking here. And it takes every time you interact, and this is where we're actually making an API call to Claude. It takes a little bit of time. I think it's typically about 20 to 30 seconds while it makes that API call. And hopefully at some point here it's going to come back. Okay, and there's the result. And now it's going to do text-to-speech on this and start saying the words.
Time for adventure, the Shattered Arcanum. The world of Valdris hums with old magic. Ley lines run beneath its soil like veins of liquid starlight, and those born with the sight can feel them pulse underfoot. A constant reminder that the veil between the mundane and the arcane is thin here, worn threadbare by centuries of ambitious spellcasters. You are Soren Ashvale, a young apprentice wizard newly cut loose from the crumbling tower of your master, the eccentric arcanist Bremok, who vanished 3 weeks ago without so much as a farewell note. All he left behind was a half-filled spellbook, a cryptic margin scrawl, "Find the hollow spire before they do," and a profound silence where his mutterings used to be. You stand now at the edge of Crestfall, a modest market town wedged between the Greywood and the Ashfell Road. It's a gray morning. Wood smoke drifts from the chimney tops, and the market square is just waking up. Carters arranging their stalls, a dog barking at nothing, the smell of fresh bread cutting through the cold air. In your satchel, Bremok's spellbook, battered, partial, and a carved oak wand he pressed on you during one of his more lucid mornings. You have 4 silver marks to your name. A bulletin board outside the dusty Flagon Inn catches your eye. A notice, freshly nailed, its ink still dark. Sought, one capable individual for delicate retrieval task. The hollow spire, generous pay, ask for Maris inside. Your master's words ring in your ears. Your move, Soren.
Okay, so there's the opening scene for this campaign and the opening information about your character and who they are and what they're doing in the world. And from here, you could add more players if you've got other people who are going to play with you. You just do the add player again with that person's Discord user ID and whatever their character wants to be, the description of their character, and it will add them into the campaign and add them into the current scene. Once you've got, and by the way, you can add players at any time. You can add players once you've been playing for a while. You can add in a player. You can remove players. If you go back up here to the help here, you can see there's right here. Here's the add player. There's a remove player. So you can do that at any time, and it'll add a new player into the current situation wherever you're at. So that all works pretty good. So now that we've got our opening scene, we're kind of into the game, and what you do to kind of advance the story is you use what's called the TFA ACT command, and it has a single parameter, action. You're going to say, what are you going to do? And I wrote up something here to keep things going quick. I'm going to say, go inside the Dusty Flagon and ask for Maris. Now, you'll notice that the campaign kind of, by the way, all of this is being created solely based on the two things you input so far, the setting and your character description. And you'll notice that it kind of created a storyline and puts you kind of into that storyline. And you can certainly go along with that storyline, but you can also kind of just go off and do your own thing if you want. It might try to pull you back a little bit, but generally if you just say, I leave the town and go out adventuring, it'll let you do that, and it'll make up new storylines for you. But anyhow, let's just go along with the storyline here. I'm going to say, go inside the Dusty Flagon and ask for Maris. And again, now it's going to submit that action that you want to do with your character. And by the way, if you do multiple players, every player who's a part of the campaign can do the TFA ACT command. And when it does, it knows which player is associated with which character, and so it knows which character is going to do that action. All right, so here's the text here, and it's going to then now make the call to do the
The dusty flagon
text-to-speech.
smells of tallow candles and last night's ale. A fire crackles in a stone hearth at the far wall, doing its best against the morning chill. Two laborers nurse porridge at a corner table without looking up, and the innkeeper, a broad woman with a gray-streaked braid, is stacking cups behind the bar. "Maris," she says, before you've finished the question. She jerks her chin toward the back of the room. "Corner booth. Been nursing the same tea for an hour." The woman in the corner booth is not what you expected. Maris is lean and sharp-featured, perhaps 40, with ink-stained fingers and a traveler's coat that has seen serious mileage. A leather satchel sits on the bench beside her, buckled shut. Her eyes, pale gray, attentive, find you the moment you round the nearest table, and she studies you the way a jeweler studies an unfamiliar stone. "You're young," she says, not unkindly, but without apology. She nods at the seat across from her. "Sit. You saw the notice, which means you either want coin or you know something about the spire." A pause. "Which is it?"
All right, so you can see the story has advanced here. We've moved forward. It did what the action that we said we wanted to do. And, from here, you just keep doing that. You just keep doing actions. However, let's try some other things. There is a command called TFA out of character. And this is a command that you can use to basically ask questions about the state of the adventure that are done in kind of an out of character way. The important thing is it will not advance the story in any way. It's just going to give you information about things and only things that your character already knows. So one thing you can say is, show my character sheet. And this is going to, again, this does use the AI to go and see what your current character sheet is. And you can see it's got my name, it says what my concept is. There's abilities here, and there's that TFA, that help, other help command has options that will explain what some of this stuff is in the context of how the rules for this role-playing game work. It's a very simplistic, rules-light role-playing game system that I kind of designed specifically for this. You have a skill here. Every character starts with one skill, and what happens when you need to do rolls, if the action that you're taking is related to your skill, you'll get a +1 to your roll for that. You got some inventory here, you got a little bit of money, and I've got a couple special powers here. All right, so let's show one more command here. I'm gonna copy my character name here, and I'm gonna do what is called the TFA visual command. And what this is going to do is give you a visual, generate, and then this is going to use AI image generation to generate an image of something inside the campaign. Like I could say, show me what the inside of this place that I'm at looks like. But I'm going to say, picture of my character. And let's see what it comes up with here. And there you go, there's a picture of your character. One thing I'll note is that when it does this, and when you do this, every time it's going to call the image generation AI and generate a picture. And so if you ask for the same thing multiple times, you're going to get different pictures. It doesn't remember the picture that it generated before. Just generate the picture of your character once, and that's your picture, I guess. If you want a different one, you could do it again, and you'll get something different. It is all generated by the AI. So all of that I just went over is pretty much how you play the game. You mostly are just going to do the TFA act command. The different players in the campaign can all do act commands. You kind of want to coordinate who's doing act commands at what times. If you try to do commands like on top of each other, you're going to get errors. It won't let you do another TFA act command. Well, it is currently processing one from another player and narrating one. Another thing I'll point out is that you can just not join a voice channel, and you can do this purely with text. You can just read the text, right? The narration is just reading exactly the text that was put out by the bot. And there is a small cost, additional cost to using the voice narration. So if you want to make it a little cheaper, you cannot do that. It's pretty small amount compared. Most of the cost is the Claude API calls. Also, generating images has a cost, and I try to be very fair about this, and I charge exactly what you are using, exactly the usage that you are using of the different API calls I do to the AIs and the text-to-speech and stuff like that. All right, so I mean, that's it. You just do TFA act. You can use all these commands, play with it, experiment, see what happens, go on your adventure. A couple other things, how you shut this down. I think I mentioned that the campaign is kind of associated with this text channel right now. And when you're done playing, you can do, and this will happen automatically if you don't do anything for, I think it's a little over an hour, it will automatically kind of disconnect it kind of end the campaign or session. So, but you can do TFA end session. And this is going to come and it's going to tell you exactly how much you spent. So you can track this very easily. And it tells you how much you spent in this session. And it's telling you how much the AI calls cost and how much the text-to-speech calls cost. So you can see I did 3 Claude API calls. I did the opening one, we did this one, and we did this out-of-character one, and the image, and that all cost about 12 cents. And the text-to-speech cost a little over 2 cents. So I think pretty reasonable for what it does. I think it does a pretty amazing job coming up with interesting narration and world building. And that it also tells you how much your total campaign costs, because your campaign is saved and you can start it up at any time. You'll notice it tells you there's a campaign ID here, and you'll need that to start the campaign up, but don't worry, you don't need to remember it. You can do a command called TFA list campaigns and hit enter, and it'll give you a list of all the campaigns you currently have going with their IDs, right? And you can see here's the one, this high fantasy world full of magic and mystery. That's the one I just created. This is the ID. You can see it matches with that. When you're ready to continue your adventure, you just, yes, I selected that. I press Control-C to copy that, and you do resume campaign, put in the ID here, and that's going to restart the campaign up right where you left off, and you can continue your adventure. You can have a maximum of 10 campaigns active at a time. There's a delete command if you want to delete a campaign that's gone forever, so careful, don't delete something you want to keep. And I also mentioned all of this stuff, your balance, the campaigns, they are all tied to your Discord user, your unique Discord user ID, right? So that only you can access them. Yeah, I think that's about it. I'll end the video here. I think I covered everything you need to be able to use this bot. I hope some people will check it out. And as a thing for getting all the way to the end of this video, I'll mention that there is a Discord server kind of for help and support and just to talk about the bot. There's a link to it on the web page that you can click and join that Discord server. And if you join that Discord server and then send a direct message to me, so join, I'm not going to, you need to join the server for this, and you send a direct message to me and politely ask for a free trial code. I may give out some trial codes to the first 10 or 20 people that ask for a couple of dollars to try it out. And so yeah, do that if you'd like to try the game out and for free. I'll give out a couple free codes to the first few people that ask for it. All right, thank you very much for watching the video. I hope you try the bot out. I hope you enjoy it. Thanks.